Hi, Savannah.
Hey, Murtaza, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm in a new location, pink room and everything.
I love the pink room. I think it should be your room too.
So, Savannah, speaking of new things, what are you trying to do that's with AI that's going to be new for you? Is there anything that you're trying to figure out that AI can do for you better?
Well, there's a million things, but there's a few specific things surrounding call coaching that's been kind of a priority for me lately. I don't think there's a tool out there yet that can fully analyze every aspect of the call, whether it's a cold call or a discovery or intro call with an AE. I think that would be really beneficial if I was able to build out an agent that knows everything about my job, everything about the company, what we're looking for an ideal customer, and analyzing the calls that, we're on every day and can help coach and make us better at our jobs. So something that's top of mind, and we have yet to figure out how to do that, but it's my idea. What do you think?
Well, that's a tall ask. And maybe a tool might exist, but it may not exist to do exactly what you want it to do. Like it may not have, the very specific customization to your needs. Right? So, ever thought about building something like that?
Yeah, I don't really know where to start. You may have to show me the ropes.
All right, let's do it. Let's build out a tool like that right now. You up for it?
Right now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's our episode today. Welcome to Bantercast. So, Savannah, you've done a little bit of legwork on this. You and I kind of set up a little thing, and we're going to talk about it through the document in a bit. But how about you share your screen and we go into Claude and start building out some of the basic features. Where it says select folder just above the prompt area, yeah, you go into your documents, or you look for Claudette, either way.
Claudette folder has been selected. Next.
Claudette folder has been selected. Great news. So the next step here that we want to do is ask Claudette. Let's start talking to Claudette. Say hi, Claudette. Yeah, you trust this workspace. There we go.
There she is.
A transcript to review or something else.
Well,
let's start by talking to Claudette about setting up some of the basic functionality that we needed to set up, which would yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a few things. And one of the things that's important to me is including the qualification questions that are actually relevant for my job and my company over at Wizza. So I've copy pasted from another document that I use on a day-to-day when I'm in my calls, and I'm going to include that here.
Yeah. So maybe worth mentioning this here to Claudette, Savannah, that it needs to update the scoring rubric that we'll show everybody in just a little bit on the document that we put together.
Oh,
so it's going to do that. Wait for it. It's going to probably come back and ask you for that. And while we're building it, so what we had taught Claudette initially, as we were putting some of the basics together, was to score based on discovery calls as well as regular cold calls. So Savannah has given it a new guidance on what is specifically relevant for her role. And now it's adopting some of those standards, as you can see.
And then she's asked me 2 questions. Automatically process a disposition. So for me, I'm going to say that 1, disposition is unqualified, and 2, a note for now. So just want to quickly share this. We've done some prep work, and my dream agent is a AE call coach named Claudette. So here she is. In this document, we've prompted it with kind of all the things that we're looking for, from Claudette's personality, There's a rubric for what we're looking for when it comes to medic and your ideal ICP. Everything really that you're looking for. We have also included some details regarding short calls. So those are going to be cold calls and prospecting calls, as well as discovery calls. So those longer 30-minute demos and introduction calls that you have as a team, it should be able to analyze and read all the calls.
One of the things we were looking at was how do we make this an autonomous agent that at the end of every day, it runs through all your calls, it runs through all your demos, and like Savannah said, measures it up against the rubric that you had. So it has the ability to connect with HubSpot, to connect with Zoom recordings, and to connect with any other note taker that you prompted to connect with, as long as there's a Claude MCP available for that note taking tool. So once it's connected, it's going to look through the transcript, it's going to look through the notes, and it's going to classify the outcome based on this data set. The really cool part about it is that the scoring rubric we are using is not hard-coded, so you can go in and update it at any time. That is part of the installation package that Claude would set it up for you in the YML file. We decided that we want to score against some of these attributes based for cold calls, for instance, give certain weight to openers versus certain weight to objection handling and things of that nature. Similarly, for discovery call, we had this plan. But in your role, you could decide to do it differently. And as you set this up, you could go back in and just like you saw Savannah at the start of this conversation, prompt it to change and customize it to the specific needs of her role. You can decide and tell it that I want to change the way some of these weightings are scored so that it becomes more relevant for you. And then at the end of every day, so if we keep going down, Savannah, maybe we can share some feedback over here. There's also the standard dispositions that are included about what is a qualified discovery call that could move to an opportunity or something that needs to be nurtured or something that needs to be disqualified. So that's kind of like a high-level architecture. If you want a copy of this, just comment below and you will receive a PDF file with all this information as well. And if we look back at, Savannah, where we are in your code terminal.
Okay. See, Claudette's making a good suggestion here. So she's saying if we're missing 2 of the gates, then the disposition would be unqualified, ready for transcript whenever you have one. Okay.
So Savannah, you can point it to the transcripts now and see what it scores.
For the purpose of data safety, we're not going to be showing you directly from HubSpot or Zoom, but I have created a saved file of a transcript that I'm just going to plug right into our document here. Call sample 1. I've named it that just to be simple. I'm going to open the document. Here it goes. And I'm going to feed it to Claudette. I may even ask her for the purpose of this video to refrain from using prospect and company name, please. Hot tip, if you say please, your agent is going to produce better results over time. I read that somewhere. Okay.
Now, there was a time, Savannah, when they would say, please do not use thank you and please because it takes up a lot of resources to process. But I'm pretty sure they've come a long way from there. You can hit always allow. Now, in certain cases, if your organization allows you to bypass permission, that could be an option, but it does require admin access. So if you have that, great. If not, you can always click always allow.
Here we go. It's reading the file. And again, these are based off of my qualifications for what WISA is looking for internally. But if this is you, please feel free to, prompt it with the qualifications and all the information that is relevant to you in your day-to-day. All right.
So Savannah, just looking at this, would you say it's a fair feedback that this is not a qualified discovery call?
Based on what I'm seeing, I'm just trying to see here. So based on what I'm seeing here, Claudette has decided that because the decision maker / CEO in this case was not present on the initial call, they ended up scheduling a follow-up call to include the CEO a few days later. This is an example here where the disposition is being marked as unqualified. And again, I could definitely tweak this. Up here, I had asked it to mark it as unqualified if it did not check off more than 2 of the boxes. But if I tweaked this to change those qualifications, this would definitely reflect differently. But definitely, Claudette is definitely understanding kind of the point of the call here. She understands the criteria we're looking for in terms of seats, team size, budget. So I'd be curious to know what will happen. And Murtaza, let me know what you think. But if I change the suggestion I gave Claudette right here.
So Claudette will learn, right? And what you can do right now is tell Claudette that we decided that this was a qualified deal because of A, B, and C, even though the decision maker was not there. So keep that in mind for future similar situations. You can also tell Claudette that use this as a precedent for future reference in case you run into similar situations.
Yep, and let's see what she says. And I also asked her to remark the disposition based on, the information I provided. So now she's telling me there's 2 things to do, and it's to update the rubric and save this as a memory. She's doing it. Okay. And from here, I can just practice by continuing to feed it different calls and kind of tweak all the information based on what I'm seeing. All right, let's see.
Now this becomes like version 0 for you. But if you follow the further guidance that we had about the integrations and all of that, you can get Claudette to follow the description that we had in that Word document, to not only check for your discovery calls and cold calls every day, but also provide you a proper report on these are the calls you had and this is the outcome of those.
We're going to do another one just to see. So Claudette said ready for the next one whenever you are. So I'm using a second sample here. Let's see what type of results we get. And it's pretty quick too, because the nice thing about this is I could go and do other things while Claudette is producing the information that we need.
Yep. So what was the feedback on the second transcript, Savannah?
Second transcript here is super accurate. And again, these are tester samples to kind of see the accuracy of Claudette. So I know that this is an unqualified meeting. I did this intentionally. And all the information that she has spit back out is exactly the reason why we have determined it as unqualified. So currently no provider was surfaced. They didn't really have the export and volume credit needed. There was no real team size. It's a bit of a niche use case in this scenario, but I wanted to use this to kind of see how Claudette could gauge the results of the call, which I know what the outcomes were. And I'm just trying to see. Rep deemed the wrong person. Pricing sent via. Okay. Yeah. This is all fair. And oh, I love this coaching moment. So as you guys can see at the end of the call disposition and kind of the reason why it's unqualified, Claudette is now coaching us. So coach has given us lesson number 1 that we demoed the wrong person here. So maybe wasted our time in Claudette's mind and we spoke to the wrong person. And then number 2, pricing was sent via email. And why does that matter? This is interesting. Email client contacts. Interesting. And again, based on these coaching moments, we could always tweak this data to, reflect a little bit more what we're looking for. If this is not the type of coaching I'm looking for, I'm sure I could say, give me coaching on my tonality used in the call and the question.
You're also really like Savannah that it's giving you recommendations for future such conversations about what kind of questions you can ask.
I also love the pattern flag. So I fed it 2 calls and it's telling me 2 calls in, pricing is hitting the table before the right people are in the room. That's not a coincidence. Watch it for the next one, which is really, really cool to see. And I'm sure that this pattern flag will update and maybe it'll give me, positive reinforcement. I'm noticing that pattern has gone away. And then here, and I knew this was going to happen, but I just wanted to show as an example, I prompted it to give me coaching based on things like tonality and questions I asked, but all I fed it was a transcript. Um,
It was anonymized as well, right? So
yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
struggling to do that.
but that's okay because the whole point of me showing this is when it's connected to HubSpot or even Gong or
Any taker with
any other note taker, really.
the users
It has,
identified.
yeah, exactly. So this is not, it can't give us an honest truth of what I'm looking for, but when this call ends and I properly connect it to my HubSpot and other things, we'll get this data surfaced.
Awesome. So Savannah, do you think this is the good start for you to use Claude and AI to solve the big problem for having a personalized sales coach who tells you how it is for what you specifically want?
100%. I think that this is a great place to start. And again, just like with any AI agent, there is tweaking. You have to train it and talk to it. You've taught me that. You talk to your agents every day, and that's how they build and understand what you're looking for. And so if every day I start feeding Claudette my calls and we work together and she provides me coaching and I take the feedback and apply it to my next call, I'm sure this will start to change. The other thing too that I really am interested in doing is connecting this to my Slack and maybe having it notify me in my own Slack channel.
That's going to be
That
awesome.
way, every time I have a call, I get notified with, feedback, red flags, green flags, what happened, the qualifications and disposition. And then I can learn from that as well. So I think this is a great place to start for people who are looking to kind of build out an agent similar to kind of the idea I had in mind. And we've got a nice document to start you off if this is something that would be valuable to you.
Amazing. Leave a note, get the outline, build it yourself, and let us know how it works for you and share your feedback.
Thanks for this today, Murtaza. This was awesome.
I love it. Thank you.